Hey everyone, welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. We're starting off a brand new week, and as such, we're going to be doing a new series here for the channel as we continue with Anime Marvel Phase 3 Part 1 Tales to Astonish. And we have a new series coming into the forefront, one that you guys have been waiting in anticipation for since I announced I was going to do this project a little over a year ago. That being Attack on Titan, War of the Titans. What if Eren Yeager was the Hulk? We're starting with Season 1, Part 1. As always, if you're new to the channel or if you're a regular, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that is to come out now and in the future. This one series I am going to be doing this week. We're not going to be doing afternoon videos for this week, mainly because, when you do that over and over again, you get through a lot of burnout. And, not that I don't like making 2 videos a day, but, sometimes I just want to try to keep it simple. So this week, I'm just going to be focusing all my attention on this series. So we're only going to be doing this one. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. My name is Eren Yeager. Chances are, if you're reading this, it means that mankind hasn't destroyed itself to absolute nothing. Or maybe it has, I'm not entirely sure. I'm writing this memoir, this message, shortly before our departure. You're probably going to be having a lot of questions. Questions that I hope I can answer for you in this short time that I have. Safe to say, you've probably heard a lot of stories about me. Most of them, probably all of them, won't be flattering in any way, shape, and form. I can't deny I've done a lot of things I'm not really proud of. A lot of things that most men wouldn't be able to sleep so well at night. But in the end, I like to think that I did some good in the world in a weird, unorthodox way. It's a lot more complicated than you might think. So, I hope wherever you are, when you're reading this, you get yourself nice and comfortable. Because for the time I have left, there's a lot that we're going to need to talk about. You probably know my story already. You know about what happened to me in the year of 845. You could say that that was the day that everything changed for me in my life. The day I lost my mother. You know all of the standard information. I was trained to join the Scout Regiment to help my people in the fight against the Titans. You probably know about my allies, the people that fought with me. You probably know all of the basics, so I won't bore you with those details. So now the only question is, where do I start? You probably want to know about how it all ends, don't you? Yes, it's a big fight. A lot of people die. It's probably not going to be what you expect or what you see coming. But like I've always been told, I can't just rush forward into everything. I have to be patient. I have to start where it all began. But where exactly do I want to start? Do I start with training camp? No. I start with my failures at using ODM gear. You probably saw that. I think I know where I should start. I think you guys know it too. It all started on that day when the Colossal Titan returned. Eren Yeager remembered it fondly. He had just spoken with a few of his close comrades. Of course, against his better judgment, they were going to be joining the scouts along with him. Some, of course, like Jean, wanted to join the military police. In truth, he just didn't want to see any combat unless he had to. That was fine, of course. Everyone had their own life to live. What really rubbed him the wrong way, though, was the fact that Armin and Mikasa were coming with him. He wanted to keep them safe. He figured, if anything, just being a part of wall duty would be more than enough. But they were determined to follow him to the ends of the earth, for better or for worse. He was so hopeful. This was his time. It was his time to change things. He was going to go out into the world and reclaim what was his. Take back what the Titans stole from them. Their peace of mind, their security, their freedom. He wanted it all back. He never forgot the day he lost his mother. The cowardice that washed over him. But there was also something else. Something that welled up deep inside of his heart. It was anger. It was anger and rage and hate. That's something that never goes away. Funny enough, he was always told that just having guts and determination wouldn't get you very far. But to the people that told him that, they were wrong. Although there was one thing that his instructor said that stuck with him. Will you fight? Or will you just be feed? In this world, that question is what haunts many of a man's mind. The question of wondering, what will you do when your final hour comes upon you? Do you attempt to fight back? Do you attempt to stand? Do you attempt to make a difference, or do you just fall to the wayside to be forgotten? Lambs being brought to the slaughter. To die so pathetically, crying, begging, screaming, knowing that no one can help you. And for the few that can, they choose not to because they value their own lives. Of course, you had the other kinds as well. Those who just wanted to rush headfirst into danger, everything else be damned. Nothing mattered. The only thing that they cared about was guts, glory, and God. You had your religious zealots. You had those who were apathetic to everything. You had those who were worried about the future, hell, just the next hour. And then you had people like Eren, who lived and breathed for just one thing: to watch a Titan's head roll. People often underestimate just how much hatred can do, how far you can get with hatred. Just on hate alone, you can find yourself doing some things that you didn't even know were possible. You find yourself in the heat of the moment, summoning forth a level of power and strength that you didn't even physically think you were capable of doing. And yet, even still, it doesn't even begin to fully comprehend or fathom everything that's welling within your heart. A fire that never dies out. A storm that keeps raging. That is what felt of hatred. That is what it felt like to keep it all bottled up inside of you. Something that kept you going. Something that kept you going when your legs couldn't move anymore. When your arms couldn't carry anything. When every fiber of your being is telling you to lay down and die. When you can't feel your toes. When your vision becomes blurry. When it feels as though someone took hot coals and encased them inside of your very flesh. when you become numb to everything. When you feel like your body has become nothing more but a big lump of pain and anguish. When your own body curses the day that you were born. When you curse the day that you came out of your mother's womb. Hate is the one thing that can keep you going. It's the one thing that can drive you. As long as you have just a spark of hatred, you can overcome a lot of things. A lot of things you didn't even know you could. You summon a level of strength you didn't even know you were capable of. For Eren, he found himself in that moment as he lied on the top of a roof with his legs having been bitten off by a titan. It started when the colossal titan just emerged. It appeared and disappeared just as quickly as it came. It wasn't by coincidence that it had done that either, no. Eren remembered it all too fondly. The colossal titan, the armor titan. He never forgot what they looked like. If there was one thing that kept him going throughout all of training, throughout all of his years of working as a cadet, throughout all the failures, the bumps and the bruises, if there was one thing that drove him, it was a dream. The dream of the day he would take his sword and bury it in the back of that titan's neck, the both of them. Eren dreamed of a day when he would kill the last titan. He didn't just want it to die quickly, no. He promised himself he'd savor that moment. He wanted to see what it looked like for a titan to feel fear. If it didn't know, he would teach it. And he promised he'd be a damn good teacher in that particular aspect. He wanted to watch a titan crawl away, to try to beg for its pathetic life. He wanted to cut it piece by piece, inch by inch. He wanted it to feel every agonizing moment before he finally took its life. That dream alone got him through some hard times. There were those who thought that he was insane, that thought that he was crazy. He was told that time and time again, that his hatred would be his own demise. And it's funny, they were actually right. As he found himself being picked up by a titan, being lunged towards its mouth, for Eren, fighting through the excruciating pain of no longer having his limbs, looking as the mouth began to close down upon him, he only knew one thing. He didn't want it to end like this. It couldn't end like this. This was not where his story ends. To die like a pathetic piece of trash. To be forgotten. To just be written off. He had come too far. And suddenly, he thought back to that day. He remembered watching the look on his mother's face. Watching just before the titan bit her. Ripped her to shreds. In that moment, a flash dawned upon him. Mikasa and Armin, who had been trying to get closer to Eren to rescue him. Something changed. As they looked on, a new titan had formed. But there was something off about him. Because this titan was killing other titans. And not just killing them, it knew exactly where to strike to kill it. At first, they couldn't make heads or tails of just what exactly this new titan was capable of doing. Mikasa, Armin, and Connie were watching from a distance. They watched as the other titans swarmed around this new titan, began ripping it limb from limb, biting at it, hacking away, ripping at its arms and flesh, ripping and tearing it apart. The Titan continued to fight off against the other ones. It was complete and utter bedlam. As they ripped open his chest cavity, a green spark would shoot from outside of it. And what they heard next was a deafening and horrifying scream. It looked as though the Titan itself, its skin started to turn into a gray pale of itself, as if all the color of its life force was just drained in that moment. It fell to the ground, being nothing more but a corpse. But what crawled out of the chest cavity was something entirely different. Mikasa and Armin, even Connie, they knew what it was, who that was, but at the same time, he looked so different. He wasn't as big as a Titan, maybe half the size of an average one, but he was larger, muscular. His skin turned to that of a green. His eyes, his eye color, they could tell without a shadow of a doubt. Mikasa rushed over to Eren to figure out what had happened to him. One moment, he had somehow been a Titan, and now the Titan corpse was on the ground, but what the hell had he turned into? Eren, whatever it was, it screamed to the top of its lungs as it looked towards the Titans, whose attention it managed to catch. Titan, die. Hulk, Titan, die. Hulk, Titan, die. In one jump, this beast-like Eren form, whatever he was, he immediately jumped towards the Titan that was closest to him. He cocked back his arm to throw a right hook. And in one fell swoop, the Titan's head rotated 180 degrees. The bones jetting out of its neck. Eren had snapped it and killed the Titan. Hulk! Smash! He brought both of his fists down on the twisted head of the Titan, beating it and smashing it till it was nothing but pulp. He turned and set his sights on the other Titans. He jumped forward as the other Titans tried to fight back. They tried to grab hold of him and eat him, but it did them no good. One Titan tried to shove him into his mouth, but Eren kept the mouth open with his bare hands, breaking away at all the teeth, ripping off the head of the jaw with his own brute strength. Some of the others came along as well, among them being Jean. He didn't even want to be here. But even so, he didn't have much of a choice. He saw Mikasa and Armin and Connie, who were watching in disbelief at what was happening, and he too was left awestruck. They watched as this monster-like Eren ripped through Titan after Titan after Titan, punching holes through their chests, ripping out their beating hearts, tearing them limb from limb. It was a massacre, but it was a massacre on the other side. Finally enough, off in the distance, they saw the colossal titan. Eren locked eyes on it once more as the titan was attempting to break down more of the defenses of the third wall, Wall Marie. Without hesitation, he went charging directly towards the colossal titan, rushing up the side of the titan's arm as the two of them locked eyes. With one fell swoop, he punched it directly in the face. But just as quickly as he had gotten off one hit, the titan disappeared. The others would quickly follow behind, following the trail of destruction and devastation. There was still the corpse that Eren had crawled out of. It now looked as though it had rotten just as quickly as it formed. Eren was now a wreck. The colossal titan had just been here, and now it was gone. Why was it running? It ran like a coward. All this time, all these years, the Titans were always the one causing the mayhem. But now that he had the power to fight back, now it wanted to run. Inside of his own mind, Eren was an absolute wreck. He screamed and howled in the depths of his own consciousness. Who in the hell do you think you are? To run away from me? After everything you did. After everything you did to us. You took everything. You took it all. And now you want to run. You want to run from me. Hulk! Smash! He began to wreck and destroy everything in his path. Every house. Every foundation, he ripped it apart. Who in the hell did they think they were? To do all the damage that they did and just run off. To run like cowards. The bastards. They were gonna pay. They were all gonna pay. Other members of the Scouts, other members of various parties came to see what was happening. They all saw for themselves firsthand the raging beast that was Eren Yeager. Except that's not what it said. It yelled out only two words. Hulk and Smash. Mikasa tried to get closer, but she was held back by senior Corps members. They waited until Captain Levi had arrived. The captain, looking firsthand at the damage that had been done. In all his years, he had never seen anything quite like this. Whatever this boy was, Titan, human, or otherwise, he was making a mess of things. And it was time to bring this little tantrum to an end. Levi would step forward as the hulking beast turned to face him. So, you're the one who's been making quite a mess of things around here. I see you're angry. It's quite unfortunate, but I don't have time to give into the petulant tantrums of a child who doesn't know how to behave themselves. I'm only going to say this once. Eren Yeager, stand down or I'll put you down. Levi drew one of his blades as the beast looked upon him. The two keeping a long and standing form of eye contact. Mikasa, of course, voiced out against such an action. But despite her best efforts, no one was going to let her interfere. They had no idea what they were dealing with. There were those with their guns drawn, ready to fire at a moment's notice. Those with their blades also at the ready. They had to make sure. It felt like almost an eternity, but eventually he began to shrink in size. As he did so, Eren was now at even level with the captain. So, looks like you can control it. Good thing. You almost got your head taken off. Where am I? Eren would fall to the ground and collapse, completely knocked out. He would be taken into custody. Things had definitely changed. And for the scouts, for all those who lived within the walls, nothing would ever be the same ever again. Far off in the distance, there were two that watched from the shadows, both of them shrouded in the dark. Are you sure this is a wise decision? I mean, it's not every day that one gets a second chance. You're really okay with letting things play out like this? They have to. You can't interfere with fate, can you not? You say that, and yet why are we even here? That boy is filled with more than enough rage and anger to destroy the world. All we have to do is make sure he points it in the right direction this time around. You say that like it'll be simple. No, it won't be. But nothing in life ever is. For now, we'll continue to watch. Until it's time, make sure that no one sees you. And what about you, sir? Where are you going? I'm going to live amongst the people for a while. I wish to see things with a different form of clarity. There you go, always talking nonsense. Just don't get yourself killed, master. No need to worry. I won't do anything rash. Not this time. For now, you have your assignment. Watch over him and keep him alive by any means necessary. This concludes Attack on Titan, War of the Titans. What if Eren Yeager was the Hulk? Season 1, Part 1. As always, if you enjoyed today's video, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that has to come out now and in the future. And stay tuned tomorrow as we continue with What If Eren Yeager Was the Hulk? Attack on Titan, War of the Titans. Season 1, Part 2. But that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.